Oh man, here we go again. We got Dr. Umar Johnson, the fake Pan-African, the fake black guru, the guy who's supposed to be opening up a school for the last 15 years. Here he go doing something else. I'm pretty sure to put a foot in his mouth again. This Poeta Flacco breaking down the Umar Johnson situation. Let's check him out.
Umar Johnson made a really big mistake during this interview. He admitted to a literal felony. Not just any felony, though. He admitted to a federal crime. Before the video even gets started, I want to put y'all on to the best money play right now on the internet called Free Cash. These folks is literally paying you to play video games, bro. Like little mini games like this. You hop on your phone, you play them, and you get paid to play it, bro. It's 100% trackable, transparent. You see exactly how much you're making as you play it. If somebody is willing to pay you to play video games, you probably want to play it because you don't know how long it's going to last. Scan my QR code or click the link in my description to download the app and get started. Despite telling us that he was done doing interviews until the school is completed because he's done answering questions about the school progress, Umar Johnson is back doing interviews. The questions that Umar Johnson found annoying and stopped doing interviews because he wanted to avoid, to me, were pretty normal questions. It's questions like, hey, you've been raising money for this school since 2014. Why haven't the school opened up yet? To me, that's a pretty reasonable question. Well, Umar Johnson did an interview recently, and, he was asked that particular question. And Umar Johnson's response dug him into a really big hole.
We saw this kind of rumored around, and we wanted to get your thoughts on it. So critics say, obviously, you raised millions for your school, and after some time, about a decade or so, the school hasn't been up. So they want to know, what's the 2026 update on FDMG Academy?
First of all, anything a critic says about FDMG, I would like to know where they get the information from. Nobody knows how much money we raised because we never shared it. My circle is so tight that nobody in the public could know anything unless we share it with them. The only people we share information with are our donors. The big problem with the so-called FDMG controversy is the people asking the questions are not the donors.
Umar Johnson proudly admitting during this interview that the public couldn't possibly know how much he's ever raised because he never gave them the accurate number. He never gave them the real information. They don't have no clue. Shocked me. It has shocked me because Umar Johnson filed a 501c3. Umar Johnson is a nonprofit. He has nonprofit status. As a 501c3 organization, Umar Johnson don't have to pay taxes on the money he raised. But what comes with that privilege is transparency. You have to file a 501c3 and you have to disclose your current assets, the current cash at hand, how much you're raising each year, how much you have. And you have to publish this information because you are a nonprofit who don't have to pay taxes. So hence you have to report to the public and you have to put accurate information. Umar Johnson has skipped multiple years, by the way, of reporting, on the 501c3. But if you're Umar and you have filed a 501c3 and you have given us what you claim is the assets you currently have, the cash in hand, and then you hop on a podcast and say nobody knows the real number, you're saying, or you're confessing to lying on federal paperwork. You see, in a 501c3, Umar Johnson had to list himself as an employee. Umar Johnson would also say, though, that he has received $0 in employee compensation. He has received a $0 salary for all the years.
Look, if you think for 1 second, after 12, 13 years, this man gonna open up a school, I got a small bridge in California I can sell you, or some magic beans, you gotta be a goddamn fool. This man ain't opening up no school. He claimed that he was going to stop doing interviews, but of course he's not going to stop doing interviews because he's getting paid. He needs the money. So no, he's not, but he just wants y'all to stop asking him about that damn school. That's what Umar want badly. Okay, he's a complete fraud. Everybody should be aware of that by now.
He's been operating. This 501c3 is from 2021. So Umar Johnson stated that he began the year with $518,000 in cash and ended the year with $572,000. So that would mean after all the money he done spent, after all, like everything, right? Like, like a remodeling, whatever. of almost $54,000. Now, Umar Johnson didn't really list anything else, but he was pretty transparent, right? He listed it as cash on hand. So if he was pretty transparent in this regard, right, but then hop on a podcast and state that nobody knows the real number, you've never disclosed the number, then that would mean that this information that we thought was transparent is actually wrong. You actually gave false information. The penalties for lying on a 501c3 is fines of up to $100,000 or $500,000 for corporations, imprisonment for up to 3 years, plus cost of prosecution. Umar, for your sake, man, I hope you was transparent, bruh. I hope you wasn't capping, because we got updates from other 501c3s that you filed, right? Because you filed one in 2024, in 2023, and you skipped 2022. This is for FDMG RGB Leadership Academy, again, designated as a 501c3. So if we go towards the latter years for FDMG, you see he skipped 2022 for some reason, but in 2023, Umar Johnson claimed that he raised $204,000. Mind you, Umar Johnson had cash on hand. Umar Johnson had $500,000+ cash in hand, he says, in 2020. So since 2020, Umar Johnson has raised $116,000. That's $600,000. He skipped this year for some reason. He raised $204,000. That's $800,000. And he raised $84,000 in 2024. Let's just say $900,000. Now, I think Umar Johnson has raised much more than that. Umar Johnson will put his expenses as $75,000 in 2021. He don't really list any other expenses here. But again, Umar Johnson is telling us that nobody has the real numbers, that nobody knows the real. That would mean that this information is inaccurate and Umar Johnson gave false information.
The donors don't ask questions. We have their complete faith, complete support. 85% of our donors are repeat donors, which means they've been supporting us since the fundraiser began. The people who want answers are people who have no vested interest at all in the project. So I don't answer questions to people who don't have any vested interest in the project. You follow what I'm saying? I don't go around.
See, that's his way of not taking accountability. Oh, did you donate? Well, you ain't donate. You ain't got no point asking me about nothing. But it's people that did donate. What's the one dude name who make all those videos on him on YouTube? Lennon Honor. He donated. And he asking questions about his money. But you not saying nothing though. So he used it as a stalling tactic. Oh, did you donate? If you ain't donate, don't worry about it. That's some woman shit. That shit women do. Okay, Umar is acting like a broad right about now. Not giving accountability for nothing.
Offering answers to people who don't have anything to do with what I'm working on, because this is a private Black community initiative. We don't owe them no answers. We don't take any federal money. You see what I'm saying?
Umar, you going to jail, bro. You go to jail, bro.
No, you do owe some answers, goddammit. You've been scamming the people, talking about a school since 2000 with. I just saw a tweet of yours talking about it in 2010, why you looking for black male teachers. So, hell, you might as well say the last 15, 16 years. It's been kids, people want to send their kids there. Their kids were 5, 6, 7 years old. The damn kids 25, 30 years old now. Stop the cap, as they say.
Yo, do you understand as a nonprofit disclosing information, like disclosing your financials is a non-negotiable? Like that's not something they're not asking you to disclose. No, they're telling you have to disclose it, right? If you are a nonprofit, if you are a 501c3 status. Why do Umar Johnson think he's above the law, bro? These folks will lock you up so fast, they not having mercy on you, bro. Like this stubbornness, bro. Yo, you are trying to stick it to the detractors online, which I understand they can be annoying, but trying to stick it to them is not worth sticking it to them at the risk of your own freedom.
So, that's the problem, because they want us to be accountable to YouTube. They want us to be accountable to Instagram. They want us to be accountable to the struggle streams. I'm not accountable to nobody but our donors. So when donors have a question, they can call me and ask. And I know if they're a donor or not because we've recorded every donation we've ever gotten. Every one. You follow? So if you call, say, Doc,
really?
I'm going to ask you a question about the school. Sure. What's your name? When was your last donation? How did you make that donation? Let me confirm you.
If you believe this, then I got a bridge to sell you. If you think that Umar Johnson have record of each and every donor, you're out of your mind. First off, Umar Johnson has had GoFundMe's shut down. He's been banned from GoFundMe. So you think Umar Johnson has a list of all the GoFundMe people who donated? Umar Johnson has been banned from multiple PayPals. You think Umar Johnson has a list of all the PayPals? You think when Umar Johnson is on IG Live saying, run me those donations, $5, $1, it don't matter. You think Umar Johnson is keeping track of all the dollars? Like, come on, bro. Of course not. But even if he was, his premise is wrong. You are not just accountable to people who donated. You are accountable to the public because you sought out a nonprofit status so you can be exempt from paying taxes.
And you can ask all the questions you want, but if you're just a struggle streamer, you're just looking for content so you can just run with some negativity, I'm not giving you no answers. With that being said, let me clarify a couple things about FDMG. The fundraiser began on April the 12th of 2014 in St. Louis. Originally, we wanted to purchase the HBCU St. Paul's College in Lawrenceville, Southern Virginia. HBCU for sale, they wanted $2 million. A buddy of mine called me up and said, Doc, there's an HBCU for sale for $2 million. Of course, we hadn't even started raising money yet, so the fundraiser began. We lost. The Chinese purchased it, and I'm embarrassed that Black people let another race purchase an HBCU built by our ancestors coming out of slavery.
See, there he go. He got to shame Black people. Nigga, stop lying. You was not about to buy nothing. He always got to flip it on Black people, particularly Black men. Ain't nobody, man, Umar, boy, I am sick of this fool with this school shit. But he done studied, he done got somebody. I saw one report where say nigga got like $2 million. And I believe that too, because this nigga been going hard in the paint for the last 15 years about this, getting cash out, Zelles, all that. So the nigga is lying.
Chinese have the St. Paul's. So we said, okay, we can't get St. Paul's. Let's keep on raising this money and let's try to just get a regular day school. So we started traveling all over the world. As I told you earlier, we almost ended up in Atlanta. The big issue with the early school search is once these property owners found out who I was, and let me be clear, most of the properties that we were interested in during our school search from 2014 to 2019 was Roman Catholic schools because they take good care of their property. I thought we were going to end up in Detroit also. Detroit had about 5 Catholic schools that we had enough money to buy. And once they found out who I was, they wouldn't sell. There was another Catholic school at Money Earning Mount Vernon, New York. They wanted to lease it clean. I said, we ready to lease. They called the Vatican in Rome. He told me this. He said, half the Catholic schools in America are managed directly from Rome. I did not know that. So he had to call the Vatican and ask them if it was okay to lease the school to Dr. Umar. They said no. So a big part of the delay was we couldn't get nobody.
You believe that? You really believe they had to call the Vatican? And they said, oh no, not Dr. Umar. He too up on it. He too powerful. We can't let Dr. Umar get in there. This dude is one of the biggest liars ever, man. This shit is amazing, man. But you gotta be a fool you believe that.
Would sell us the property that we wanted, right? So we ended up in Wilmington, Delaware. We bought the school in 2019. Only 5 years. All Black money, no white financiers, no white bank. Purchasing a school in 5 years from the people's money from the community, I see no problem with that. So we get to school on February 7th of 2019, and we've been renovating it since.
And if that's not bad enough, it gets worse. So when Umar Johnson was asked why having the school open up, what's been taking so long, Umar Johnson will put all the blame on Black independent contractors and claim that all the Black contractors he hired has been lazy, has been taking their time, and have stolen from him. So all the Black contractors that you hired, that you made your decision to hire, somehow, some way, they've all been scammers. I'll be real. I'm more inclined to believe that you are the problem if you're telling me that every single black contractor you hired turned out to be a scammer and wasted your time.
February 7th of 2026 will be 7 years. This past Saturday, we completed all the renovations on the school. Why were we delayed so much? And I'm not even going to call it delay, because I believe in divine timing. If it didn't happen yet, it wasn't supposed to. You feel me? That's my position. But if we want to look at this practically, the reason it took us 7 years to do the renovations is because the black contractors, I'm going to say it, the black contractors who we depended on to help us cross this finish line sooner, they scammed us, they robbed us, they never completed their work. I haven't had a single black contractor. Quote me on this. In 7 years, I haven't had a black plumber, black electrician, black roofer, black HVAC, black painter, black floor person, not one black contractor who we paid to do the work ever finished what they got paid to do. Not one. So
You believe that bullshit? You believe that bullshit? That nigga is a goddamn liar. Like I say, he throwing black men under the bus. He never throw black women under the bus. He always throw black men under the bus, and that's what he's doing now. He gonna lie and say he never had not one plumber, no contractor, whoever finished, and he was paid. That's a damn lie. Can something like that happen? Yes, it happens all the time. But in this case, you know he's fucking lying. He say not one in 7 years took finished the job that they took money for. That is a goddamn lie. And that's one of my main issues with Umar. This nigga always throwing black men under the bus. He never say nothing about black women dating out. He never say nothing about how they say abort all black babies, the swirl movement, this and that, this and that. It's always the black man's fault. I saw him on one podcast. They're talking about why these women picking Pookie, because it's black men's fault. Everything black men's fault. Now the damn you've been scamming for the last 15 years. And what you do now, you throw black men under the goddamn bus again, you piece of trash. I am sick of this nigga. Hopefully this nigga do go to jail, man. I'm sick of this throwing black men under the bus. Ain't nobody scammed you, nigga. You is the scammer. The hell is you talking about?
Nobody say shit to me about how long it took us to get this job done. It took us long because of ninjas in the community who don't have integrity and work ethic.
If you've been tapped in long enough, Umar Johnson actually started off by asking black contractors to come and work on the school for free.
Exactly.
So he was asking people initially to come and work for free. One people said no, like, bro, I have a life. I have like my own thing to do. Like, I'm not about to just come and do like a job this heavy for free. Umar Johnson then began to begrudgingly hire black people, according to him. Umar Johnson was penny pinching. He didn't want to. He didn't want to pay nobody. And usually that attract the bad type of people, right? Usually, if the normal price for a job is going to be, let's say $10,000, but you're hiring people who can do it for you for $750. You're usually hiring the wrong type of people. I encourage every one of y'all to watch my video on the Umar Johnson and the homeless man Don situation. Umar Johnson hired Don, a homeless man from off the streets, to come and do work for him. A literally homeless man to come do work for him. And in exchange, Don gets to live inside of FDMG, even though the building, right, is currently unsafe to be in. Don will live in the building and do work in exchange for some change. When it was time to pay Don, Umar Johnson all of a sudden didn't have the money. Don sued Umar Johnson and actually won in court and got a judgment. So, like, Umar Johnson has a habit of, again, begrudgingly trying to pay people.
Wow, I never heard of this right here. I never heard about that. This nigga trying to get up on a homeless man and the homeless man sued his ass? Oh man, I'm gonna have to look that up. I never heard that, but I believe it because this is the kind of ninja he is.
And the one thing that concerns me is Umar Johnson is trying to get ahead of them not passing inspection. Because Umar Johnson is telling the dude, oh, we're done. We're about to go to the inspection. And then Umar Johnson swiftly and slickly says, the city of Wilmington got it out for him. They're trying to sabotage him. They tried to sell his building once. So hence, if he don't pass inspection, it's the city who got it after him. So if he don't pass inspection, it wouldn't be because he hired cheap day laborers. It would be because the city got it after him. You see how Umar Johnson is trying to get ahead of this story? Because I think Umar knows this building probably won't pass inspection the first time.
Now, do you believe you need any more help?
Well, as I said, we finished. The renovations are done. We got to dot a couple I's and cross a couple T's, and then we have to go for inspection with the city of Wilmington, Delaware. We don't know what's going to happen with that because they never thought we would finish. Now that we're done, we now got to fight them. Because remember, they tried to sell the school behind our backs this past summer. We had a vacant property registration fee bill that we should not have even owed because as a nonprofit, you're supposed to get a 4-year waiver. They didn't give it to us, right? I called them up to see if we can come to some type of an agreement. If you're not going to give it to us, say that and let us pay. The woman in the office told me she would call me back on 3 different occasions. Never called me back. I emailed her on 3 or 4 other occasions. Never responded to my email. All of a sudden, I get a phone call. Dr. Umar, the struggle stream is on YouTube talking about your school is about to be auctioned in 21 days. I said, this can't be true. I just checked the mail. We ain't got no mail saying they try to sell our school. All our bills is paid up except that vacant property registration fee. So I called one of my supporters in Wilmington. I said, can you go past the school and see if there's another set of paperwork on the other door? Because remember, we own both schools.
Don't this nigga like a black Grinch? The black Grinch that stole Christmas? The black Grinch that stole the kids' money? Boy, stop lying. You know good and damn well if they were going to sell their property, they told you months, if not a year in advance. I'm pretty sure they sent you notice after notice after notice, probably email. They probably mailed it to your physical address and all. So for you to tell me, people like me who know how things work, that is not goddamn true, Umar. Stop it.
By the way, not 1, 2. We own 4 buildings. We own the block. Name somebody else in the Black Conscious community who bought a whole block. Nobody. I'm the only one. So anyway, the struggle streamer stole 1 set of paperwork. My supporter got the other set of paperwork. She took a picture of it and sends it to me, right? Guess what? If they would have took both sets of paperwork, if the haters would have took both sets of paperwork, I would have never knew that our property was going up for sale because the city of Wilmington did not communicate that to us. They would have sold that school behind our backs and we would have never even known. So when I tell you getting ready for this inspection, we might have to get ready for war. We might have to get ready for war.
I hope that completes itself how it should, for sure.
It should. Either way, it don't matter.
And another thing that pissed me off, I don't know, I guess the people who be interviewing Umar, they don't never ask the nigga no real questions. They give him these little softball questions. They don't never give him no pushback. The nigga is blatantly lying in your face. But I guess, you know, they paid for the interview, so they wanted to do numbers, so they don't want to go too hard on him. But man, Umar, you couldn't sit there with me with this mess, man. I've been on call you out like, nigga, ain't nothing your fault, huh? Everything somebody else fault. This like some real woman shit. That's how women do. When you talk to women, ain't nothing they fault. None of that. The closer they'll come to take accountability is blaming on their younger self. Ooh, I was young. That's closer a woman gonna come to take accountability is blaming on her younger self. And this nigga just like a woman, he takes no accountability for nothing, nigga. You been scamming for 15 years. Now you gonna throw black men on the bus and lie on them to myself. Every single black man. That's a goddamn lie. Like Poetic Flacco say, you studied, you were trying to get people to do it for free on this Pan-African black love bullshit. Nigga, people got real lives and real bills. They got kids and responsibilities to take care of. Ain't nobody finna be working for free. Now, don't get me wrong, people will volunteer, but the kind of jobs you talking about doing that cost tens and 20 and 30,000 plus, ain't nobody doing them jobs for free. Now, you want some people to come by, help you clean up the yard, pick up the trash, rake, and maybe paint or stuff like that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can get that. But nigga, you ain't getting no $50,000 job for free. Life don't work like that, my boy, and you know that. But you're using it as an excuse, and you're throwing black men on the bus once again over your bullshit.
My ancestor Frederick Douglass told us more than 100 years ago, no struggle, no progress. If they want a war, we give them one. If I got to bring 3 million black people to Wilmington, Delaware, and march on the city, that's exactly what we do. If I got to...
3 million?
Nigga, please.
Who do Umar think he is, man? Umar believes he could galvanize 3 million black folks to come to Wilmington, Delaware. Umar, if you could do that, you are the most powerful man in America. I can't tell. Even Kai Sanat can't get 3 million people to show up anywhere. If you can get 3 million people to do anything, you're the most powerful man in America. But I don't believe it. Y'all let me know in the comment section, what do you guys think about this, man? All right, do y'all believe that Umar Johnson was lying on a 501c3 or lying in the interview? Because both can't be telling the truth. You either lied on a 501c3 or you lied when you said, I've never disclosed a real number. Let me know in the comment section.
That nigga lying all the way around. You can't believe nothing he say, man. Nothing at all. Ain't gonna be no school. But listen, I'm gonna say this, one thing I can give Umar credit for. That Negro do not care what nobody say or think about him. He gonna push the narrative and he gonna go with the narrative regardless what anybody say, what the facts say, what the proof say. That nigga gonna go. He taking a page out the white man's book. The white man put the narrative in the media, and he'll expect everybody to push it and go by it. And that's what Umar doing. You gotta go by his narrative and forget the truth and the facts. I'm sick of you throwing black men under the bus for all your mishaps. You throw black men under the bus daily when it comes to black women, and now you're doing it with this bullshit right here. It ain't gonna fly, Umar. But this gonna be real interesting as the time go on to see how this school thing gonna play out. Cause like I say, it's been with 12, 14, 15 years now. I want to see in 4 years what the excuse gonna be. Is it gonna be black men fault again? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it will be. But yeah, I'm gonna end it right there. Like, share, comment, and I'll catch you in this video. Peace.